are now just a little over 3 months away from the start of the college football season, and we just can't wait any longer. We can't wait any longer to start previewing games. So today, guys, we're taking a look at the top 5 games of Week 1. A Week 1 that's going to be here before we know it. And we've got some great games to break down. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys. We're so glad you could join us today. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. And of course, check out everything down in the description below. That includes our website, thegridironexpert.com, home to some exclusive content there, and home to our expert picks. Some of the best college football and NFL spread picks in the entire country. Hurry up, sign up for those today. The season will be here before you know it. The earlier you sign up, the better. We've beat out over 80% of the national handicappers each of the last 6 years, and we want you to join our team. So go check it out. The link for that down in the description below, as well as our mailing address to send us some of your team's gear. All of this stuff back here, these pennants, these helmets, have been sent in by you guys, the members of our GE Nation. We want to represent your team in every single one of our videos. So go ahead, send it our way. We'll give you that shout out or represent your team. All that information down in the description below. So let's take a look at Week 1, guys. We are, again, not talking about Week 0. That Florida State-Georgia Tech game in Ireland in Week 0 is going to be awesome. And we will preview that game in very deep detail as we get closer to time. We're looking at the official Week 1 right now. The official true Week 1 full slate of games. These are in no specific order. We're not ranking them from, best to worst or anything like that. Just top 5. And we're going to start in the SEC, or at least in SEC country. Miami at Florida. This is a massive game for both teams. Talk about starting your season off on the right foot, and talk about a pressure game for both of these programs and for both of these coaches. Miami went a disappointing 7-6 last year. Was not ideal for the Hurricanes. Mario Cristobal, 12-13 in 2 years with the Hurricanes. So a losing record, that's not going to do it by Miami standards. That's not good enough. And this is a year for Miami where they have high expectations. The ACC is pretty wide open. They add Cam Ward, a highly touted transfer quarterback, in from Washington State, hoping to come in and give that quarterback position some stability and give this offense a really big boost after a really up and down tenure over these last 2 years. Florida, on the other hand, they arguably have the most difficult schedule in the entire country. Billy Napier's 11-14 in 2 years with the Gators, back-to-back losing seasons. Last year, didn't even go to a bowl game, 5-7 for the Gators. That's not acceptable by Florida standards. So both these teams are very proud programs, but they're not living up to the expectations set before them. The coaches aren't getting the job done. So the winner of this game, they can kind of breathe a little bit. They can kind of rest easy. The loser of this game, their pressure's going to be on. Pressure's going to be on to find a way to bounce back, pick up a game down the road where maybe they weren't supposed to win, but they do, pull off an upset to kind of, make up for this loss. Whoever does end up losing this game. Florida has home field advantage, but it's all an in-state game. It's going to be a fun one to watch, but talk about very, very, very high stakes in just the first game of the year. Let's go to Atlanta, Georgia, and Clemson. This is going to be a very fun one, too. Really practically a home game for Georgia, right? I mean, aren't all games in Atlanta practically a home game for the Bulldogs? This is going to be fun. It's going to be a great atmosphere, a great venue, and a great battle between two teams. Georgia obviously going to be ranked in the top 10, maybe even the number 1 team in the country to start the year. Clemson, we would expect, is going to be in the top 20. Certainly the top 25. I would expect top 20. Carson Beck versus Cade Klubnik. The question is, can Clemson figure out their offense? They were supposed to be pretty solid last year with Klubnik and Garrett Riley coming in. They didn't pan out on that side of the ball. Has Klubnik taken that extra step forward? We know Georgia's still going to continue to operate like a well-oiled machine. But what I like a lot about this game is the defense. Clemson, perennially a very strong defensive team. Last year, I would say, was relatively solid on that side of the ball as well. Georgia, with Kirby Smart, the best defensive mind in all of college football, always very strong defensively. Going to be a great start to the year here. Georgia going to get a resume-boosting win if they pull it off, but if Clemson pulls this off, it's going to be one of the biggest upsets of the entire season and will automatically, right out of the gate, shake up the college football playoff race. The pressure certainly will be on for the Bulldogs, even though the playoff has expanded to 12 teams. So an interesting game to watch out for there. Notre Dame at Texas A&M. I like this game a lot. So many storylines to watch here. It's the first game of the Mike Elko era at Texas A&M, and they're getting to host what's probably going to be a top 10, definitely top 15 team to start his tenure. In College Station with the 12th man, elite opponent in Notre Dame that has aspirations to make the college football playoff. This is going to be a very fun one. So you've got that. You've got the fact that Riley Leonard, the former Duke quarterback under Mike Elko, is now the quarterback for Notre Dame. So Riley Leonard facing off against his former coach. Will Elko kind of know some of his tendencies? Will that benefit the A&M defense? We're not quite sure. It's going to be a really, really fun game. Two great coaches, two great teams. A&M, I think, actually can start to reach their potential and start to, meet expectations under Mike Elko as compared to the failures they had under Jimbo Fisher. This is going to be a big game here. Can A&M an opportunity to get a signature win right out of the gate for Mike Elko? Notre Dame, remember, they cannot get a top 4 seed in the 12-team college football playoff. They don't have a conference. They're not going to have a conference championship. So they are not going to get a top 4 seed. So this is an opportunity to get a huge resume-boosting win for them as they continue to progress throughout this season. So massive stakes on the line here. I argue this is a bigger game for Notre Dame than it is for A&M. But obviously one where if A&M wins, people are going to start talking about the Aggies maybe being a playoff contender. Maybe the Aggies being better than expected, and maybe Mike Elko already being better than Jimbo Fisher after just one game, which is a ridiculous statement to come out the gate with, but still a lot on the line here. Penn State at West Virginia. That's another one. I like this game a lot because I can see it being an upset. Penn State won last year in Happy Valley 38-15, but Morgantown's rough, man. I'm telling you. I mean, if you know college football, you know West Virginia is not an easy place to play by any means. And this is a West Virginia team that is riding high. Last year, Neil Brown's tenure was up in the air. Would he come back as the coach at West Virginia? Would he not? He needed a big year. He delivered, led the Mountaineers to a 9-win season. Penn State comes into this game with college football playoff aspirations, but they're doing it with 2 new coordinators, a new offensive coordinator, a new defensive coordinator, a quarterback in Drew Aller that is really subpar, wasn't all that great last year, and if he doesn't thrive under the new offensive coordinator this year, the offense is still going to be kind of stagnant. West Virginia, on the other hand, they've got veterans all over the board on both sides of the ball. They run the ball extremely effectively. I'd say a relatively balanced offense for the Mountaineers. Penn State's season will be over before it even starts if they lose this game to West Virginia, especially when you factor in that Penn State has to play at USC, at Wisconsin, and they've got to play Ohio State as well. They've got a tough conference slate after that. West Virginia, they win this game. They're in a conference. It's a wide-open Big 12, lots of winnable games on their schedule, kind of in a similar scenario here as Notre Dame A&M. This is a bigger game for Penn State than it is for West Virginia, but if West Virginia wins this game, we might start talking about the Mountaineers as being a dark horse playoff contender. The 12-team format is going to have a lot more opportunities for these teams. West Virginia has an opportunity to take advantage of it. And then finally, guys, LSU and USC. We got the helmets back there. I hope you saw that. LSU and USC in Las Vegas. Talk about a new era for both of these teams. It's kind of crazy. These are the 2 programs that have produced the last 2 Heisman winners. Caleb Williams won it at USC a couple years ago. Jaden Daniels won at LSU last year. Neither of those quarterbacks are there anymore. Those quarterbacks were taken first and second in the NFL draft. Kind of crazy. So, new era for both these teams. New quarterbacks for both these teams. It very well could be a battle between Miller Moss at USC and Garrett Nussmeier at LSU. Again, kind of like some of these games we've talked about, to me, seems like a bigger game for LSU here. The Tigers certainly have playoff aspirations. USC, lots of new pieces, still got to really fix up that defense. Entering a new conference in the Big Ten, so USC's first game as a Big Ten member. Another storyline to add in there. And certainly going to have a better crowd there probably in Vegas. More of a home game for USC than it is for LSU. But so many moving pieces for both these teams. But the Tigers, you would argue on paper, from a coaching standpoint, from a talent standpoint, from a continuity standpoint, LSU's got that edge. And in a very, very, very difficult SEC, they need this quality win on a neutral site over another power opponent to continue to boost those playoff hopes. I'm not ruling out the chance that USC could be a playoff contender by season's end, but they do face a very brutal schedule in the Big Ten. So this is going to be a very fun game, going to be on Sunday night, so kind of all eyes of the country going to be on this game in Las Vegas. Neither defense was great last year. Neither defense may be that great to start off this year. Could be a high-scoring shootout in Las Vegas, and to me, what better way to start the season than with that? So guys, there you go. Those are the top 5 games entering week 1. There are a couple others in there, sure, some honorable mentions that we'll talk about later on, but these are the 5 that I'm going to have my eyes on all weekend long. Remember, the season for week 1 starts on Thursday. It's going to run through Labor Day Monday. It's the best time of the year. The season's going to be here before we know it, which again, It's all the more reason for you to continue to join our GE Nation. Like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, hit that notification button so you don't miss out on any future content, and check out everything down in the description below, including our website, including our expert picks, including our mailing address. We want you to take advantage of all this, guys, because again, the season will be here before you know it, and you're not going to want to miss anything we have coming your way right here on the channel. So once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.